My name's Will DeFries, and this is a Sunday Scaries podcast, your cure for the Sunday blues. Today, we welcome a very special guest. Whether you realize it or not, you've probably seen him online somewhere. Whether he's ranking beers, bars, or Sundays, he's emerged as one of my favorite online personalities after finding him on TikTok a couple years ago. He's also the host of Playdate and How Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Rusty Featherstone. Rusty,
thank you for having me.
How's it going today?
Dude, it's going great. I was telling you a little bit about how I kicked my day off. I try and get a new trinket every week. I'm really into trinkets, and today's trinket is a glass elephant that I bought from an artist here in Venice, and I asked him if it was, or Will asked him if it was an Asian elephant or an African elephant, which I feel like if you made it, should be a thing you know, and he basically said he doesn't know. So it's one of the two. We're very excited about it, and it's going to look lovely with all my other ones.
There has to be a reference point for any artist when they're doing some type of sculpture like that.
Yes. I think he might have just Googled elephants, which no shame in that, but maybe just fake it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Rusty, for anyone who isn't familiar with you, you've gotten very popular online over the past few years. Where'd you get your start? Then just kind of how did you kind of rise up into doing what you're doing now?
I was cleaning pools. I was a pool boy in Maine, and I don't know if you know this about cleaning pools, but it's a very monotonous task. You have a lot of time to think, and I was thinking of I was tasked with starting a TikTok account, and I was like, I don't really know what to do on here. And I was like, we're drinking every day after work. Might as well film it, see how that goes. It did pretty well. And then after like a year of that, I got picked up by what is now almost Friday Media, which at the time was just Friday Beers. And I spent a summer out here in a house with Chester Collins, Bailey Langdon, and Will Donnellan, who, if you don't know them, also work here. Great guys. And then we all moved out here after college. And Will Donnellan and I started a podcast. We do YouTube together and all sorts of fun stuff. And but yeah, the beer reviews got a little taxing on the body, so you have to start getting creative, thinking of new ways to do things. And one of my favorite days of the week is Sunday. And so I think that's probably how I came across your desk, was I got very into showing people how to have the greatest Sunday ever.
I absolutely loved it when I saw it because, when I started Sunday Scaries 12 years ago. I mean, how old are you?
23.
Okay. So I started Sunday Scaries when I was a little older than you. And now I'm playing a whole different game. I'm 38 with two kids. I'm not going out as hard. I think my hangovers are actually worse now from drinking less, which is fine. But it's you need to have the young guard rise up and start really appreciating a Sunday. And so it was a beautiful thing to me. Do you get Sunday Scaries?
Oh yeah. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is a new revelation that I made last Sunday or 2 Sundays ago. I always kind of shut it down on Sunday morning, and it was like, let's start getting ready for the week. Not the right move. You got to keep it going. It's still a weekend day. I was treating it like a weekday. If you treat it like a weekend day, you hang out, get in the sun, good music, couple beers, nothing crazy. Definitely don't get hammered again, but it kind of softens the blow going into Monday. If you give yourself that whole day and then figure it out on Monday. Sit at your desk at work and figure it out on Monday, but don't let Sunday get affected by Saturday.
Yeah, I used to have a list of commandments that I had for Sundays, and one of them was that you're allowed to drink on Sundays, but you got to shut it down once the sun goes down, because you don't want to feel the lingering effects. It has to be the early afternoon boredom beers. It has to be an early glass of wine, something like that, because if you're starting to take it too far into the night, which anyone who's ever had their team play a Sunday night football game knows that it's just miserable the next day if you just take it too deep in the night and it gets away from you. You start to forget that you actually do have to work the next day.
I have a similar commandment, which is the second you can't name three players on the court, you should no longer be drinking. So it's like on the West Coast here, I'll be watching like a Gonzaga like Stetson game or whatever random team they're playing, and you're like trying to keep it going because no one wants to like just shut it down. That's when you should chill out a little bit.
Do you like being on the West Coast time zone versus being in Maine on the East Coast? I lived in San Francisco for a little bit, and I kind of liked getting my sports viewing done earlier in the day so that I could enjoy the rest of my time and actually do stuff.
I loved growing up in Maine because if you had all the channels, then you could watch the West Coast games. But out here, I go to bed a little bit earlier now. So like once like Oregon's done playing, like I go to bed, we're in bed by 9, everyone's feeling good. But like I like being able to wake up, like I'll wake up and throw on YouTube TV and there's like football at 9 in the morning,
Mhm.
which is lovely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, doing early morning football was so nice, especially if your team was playing early. Like I remember watching NHL games, just being like, "Oh yeah, this noon puck drop is going to be 9 a.m. on my side, and I can go have lunch after and enjoy my day." Um,
Yeah, people shit on the West Coast, and I was one of those people for a very long time. I think it's great
Yeah.
out here. I think it's wildly expensive, but I don't know. I think it definitely gets more hate than it should.
Yeah.
It's a great place.
If it wasn't for a couple traffic jams that I've been stuck in, I think I'd be way more into living in Southern California. But like the two
Yeah,
times that I've been out there and dealt with that, I've kind of rethought like, oh yeah, I don't know if I can handle this.
I'll go to meet my sister lives on the east side, and I have made the mistake of like telling her I could make like 7 o'clock dinner, and you're sitting on the 405, and like there have been times where my car is in park and I'm on the highway, and you're like, this isn't. I'm just gonna turn around.
Oh, it's terrible. But I mean, that's got to be like pool time for you, just to cook up some ideas and hang out. I mean, I actually don't mind having some of a commute because it's like a very rare time where you can be completely alone all day or during that time and like actually think about stuff and like sort things out and go through some ideas.
Yeah, I got into a weird traffic incident on Friday. There's this long line that accumulates to get onto my road, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but I will try and cut the line.
Hmm.
So I'll like go up, and if there's a gap, if someone's on their phone, I'll slip in there, shave like 10 minutes off my commute.
Oh yeah, there's
This
always
woman,
room at the front. There's always room at the front.
there's always room at the front. And so I cut in front of her. She speeds up and goes into oncoming traffic to start like shit talking me. And my Jeep doesn't have power windows. So I had to just sit there and take it because I can't lean over and roll the window up. And so she's just berating me about how her kids are in the car. She rolled down all the windows so I could see her kids. And then she followed me back to my house. And I was like, oh, this is kind of crazy. Like the LA people, Russian people like this were like, she was not playing any games. Like they don't take traffic on the East Coast is a little more lighthearted. She was like ready to go down with the shit.
See, I had a interaction last week that has been living with me where I had a Cybertruck cut me off on the way to work,
Yep.
and I just gave him a thumbs down, and
Yep.
he just gave me the bird, and I was like, okay,
Yep.
that's about how I thought that interaction might go.
Healthy exchange between two people.
I have a
I
question
think
that
if you cut me off in a Cybertruck, like we're both leaving this situation with two cars that don't work.
oh yeah, when the Cybertruck gets involved, it kind of like all the rules go out. It's like you can say
Yes.
whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward situation.
I think the power you must feel driving around in a bulletproof car is like everyone's a tough guy when your car is bulletproof.
Mhm.
But like, personally, I can't take some of those risks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think your Jeep is bulletproof, and I don't think having the windows down all the time is going to help either.
It does not help. It does not help at all.
So when you moved out to LA, did you, I mean, was that kind of like, was that the tipping point for you to realize like, oh, I can actually make a career out of this, or like, oh, there's like a future in this? Because when I moved down to Austin and was like getting my work recognized for the first time, it was like kind of exciting, but also anxiety inducing because it was like, oh, now that I'm actually doing this for work, like it's not just some fun thing. Like it has to actually perform or else I'm not doing it for work anymore. I mean, did you have a tipping point where you were kind of like, Oh, this is taking off.
I was I was fortunate enough for it to happen before I still don't think my brain has developed, but like it happened before the decision making part of my brain had developed. So like I didn't think about it. Like I started making money from it when I was like a sophomore in college.
Mhm.
So it was like I checked out from school pretty early on and was like, I'll just probably just do this. And like that's not the smart thing to do. So like I think because I was like uh ignorant to like that there was any risk, I just by the time it was time to graduate and move out here, like I'd already had that plan for 2 or 3 years. So I didn't really even have to make a decision. I was also fortunate that like I'm not doing it on my own. Like I have this company
Yeah.
behind me. And that made it a little bit easier because like I was on salary when I was a junior in college.
Mhm.
So like I like already kind of had the job and that was nice. But no, like there was a point where I was like, I am so glad that I don't have to like go interview anywhere. Like I was watching my buddies interview at like, these finance firms, and I was just like not a smart enough kid for that job. So I didn't have to worry about like the Goldman interviews or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Was what you started doing when you were doing the first TikToks, was that Rusty Ranks beers?
That was Rusty Ranks beers. I think my first TikTok ever was that. And then I did about 100 of those before I did anything other than that.
What
Like if you scroll through, it's just like the same video over and over.
what beer had the highest ranking at the end of it? Did you I know I've seen probably most of the videos, but I don't know what actually got the highest.
So the problem with my rating scale was it was completely subjective to how the day was going. It almost had nothing to do with the beer. So like I think we just had a really good day when we were drinking Red Stripes.
Oh
And
yeah.
then it was like, this is the best beer ever, which I love Red Stripe. But it was like completely dependent on the fact that like everything else, we were just having a killer day. You happened to be drinking Red Stripes during that. But I think it was like Red Stripe or Coors Banquet. I'm a sucker for the stubby bottle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a Caribbean restaurant down here in Austin that the pairing of the red stripe with the jerk chicken is like just heaven sent. I mean, it's stuff you dream about. You rank a bunch of other stuff too. I mean, when you do bars and campuses and things like that. I mean, is that fun to do for you? Do you like traveling for work and going around and doing that kind of stuff?
Yes and no. Sometimes it's very fun. Like sometimes you have to take a step back and be like, okay, the thing that I'm like worried about right now is like a pretty funny thing. Like we're stressed out about like booking travel yesterday because of like, we're going to Epcot again to like drink around the world.
Mhm.
And we were like kind of freaking out about like the flights or whatever. And then we had to step back and be like, all right, well, this like in the grand scheme of things, this is like a great problem to have that like the two dumbest guys in the world are like, what flight do we get on for like Epcot on like a Tuesday? But I enjoy it. We're going to Vegas next week, and it comes in like waves. So I'll have like a month where I'm home for like 2 days, and then I'll have like 2 months off, which is great. But yeah, I enjoy the travel, but like at some points you're just like I haven't had a non-fast food meal in like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, it's exhausting. I mean, just doing traveling for work in general is pretty exhausting because you're just like not in your normal routine. And then when you
Yeah,
factor in everything that goes along with it, just working while you're doing it, everything, it just becomes like a lot. But I mean, it is fun. It's tough to complain when you're in our line of work and you're traveling for like really fun reasons. You really do need
yeah.
to put it in perspective.
We had this basketball team in. Have you ever heard of TBT? Like
Yeah.
it's like the basketball tournament.
Yeah.
We had a Friday Beers team, and we were kind of making this run, and we blinked, and we had been in like Dayton, Ohio for 2 weeks, like just supporting this basketball team. And we were like, all right, what do we have to like get back? Like our bosses were calling us like, dude, you have to come home. We were like, we can't. Like the team's making a run.
The team needs us.
We lost in the Final Four to Marshall.
Oh, that's tough. Did they have like, did they just straight up like field like old players like from
Yeah,
Marshall?
it's like, or maybe it was UN. It might have been North Texas, but it was like, yeah, it's just like 35-year-old like blue collar players, just like a bunch of guys rebounding hard, cleaning the glass.
Just wearing generic green jerseys for whatever school it is. A little birdie, aka producer Randy, who's in this with us right now, tipped me off to that you have a little affinity for Legos.
I do. Yes.
Is
I'm
that
obsessed with Legos.
Have you always been obsessed with Legos, or is it like a
No,
calming thing for you? Is it just like a pure interest? Like, why do you enjoy the Legos?
I my friend Dylan Walker gave me um the the Ford whatever Aguila or whatever that Harry Potter and Ron crash into the Whomping Willow, and it was like this children's set. It's like 50 pieces. It took me like 45 minutes, and I was like hooked. I
Hmm.
was like, this is awesome. I thought they were stupid when I was a kid. Like I just got bored quickly. Like I don't have a great attention span, as you might be able to guess. And so I finished that one, was like craving another one, went to the Lego store, got another one, and did that like every day for like a little bit. And I would post them on my Instagram story and try and build them in one sitting. And then now I have like my room. I just ordered a new dresser because I've run out of surfaces in my room to put the Legos. Like there's no free space. And so I ordered a dresser just for more shelf space for my Legos. But I got the Endurance on the way, which is like a ship.
The
It's
one
on
that
back
crashed in
order.
Antarctica, like that one?
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
okay, okay.
It's gonna be sick. And that kind of crosses I'm very into like more pirates, but just general like nautical stuff. And so that's like bridging the gap between the two things that I care about.
Is there anything like, I mean, Legos might just be the answer here, but like, I mean, but you put that, you're very upfront about that. Is there any like interests that you have that you are like gun shy about putting online for people, or you don't have an angle at doing certain things that you like to do when it comes to creating content?
I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of an open book.
I
I don't post a ton. So like when I have like the itch to make something, like if I'm doing something that day, I will talk about it. But like, no, I don't. I mean, I golf. I golf a lot, and I don't totally talk about that a ton. But we just filmed like I came up with this thing called Rusty's Golf League, where I'm inviting my buddies. We go play, and they have to play by my rules. So they have to like drink whatever I want to drink, and like I get to take strokes if their vibes are bad and stuff. And so we're gonna put that up in a couple weeks. But no, I feel like what you see online is pretty representative of like what it would be like if we were hanging out on a Sunday or something.
Okay. Okay. Well, speaking of hanging out on a Sunday, I'm going to kick it to a quick ad read real quick, and then I'm going to quiz you
It's
on your Sundays.
lovely.
Today's episode is brought to you by Shopify. If you've purchased anything from Sunday Scaries, just know that it is definitely coming from a Shopify store. I run everything on Sunday Scaries through Shopify. When I upload products, I always know it's going to be easy and they're going to look great. Editing the website is so simple, and I have no coding experience, yet working with Shopify, I can pretty much do anything design-wise without having to sweat it. There are so many use cases for it, from their next level checkout to their third-party plugins. I have a million reasons to love Shopify, and I think you should too. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/scaries, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/scaries to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/scaries. All right, Rusty, I've got a series of Sunday questions. Let's dive into them. The first one, what's your ideal Sunday outfit?
Ooh, all right. Camo Crocs, baggies, the Patagonia shorts.
Okay.
The like hardest hoodie that you can find, and by hard I mean like the more you wash it, like it could like sit up on its own, and it can't scrunch at the waist. It's got to be loose.
Okay. Okay.
And then beanie. Gotta have a beanie or a hat, some sort of hat, because you presumably you haven't showered yet, so you gotta get the hair down, keep it under control.
Yeah, I've got the longer hair right now, and I found myself just putting on hats in the morning just to tame it for a little bit, and then ditching the hat
Yep.
before I take a shower. It's a pretty good
Yes,
system. I'm a baggies connoisseur myself.
of course.
I mean, are the pockets too deep? Do they need to shallow these things out a little bit?
That's a good question. So I've watched them change as I've grown, and some of them stop, and then some of them go all the way down to where the short ends. And what I do like about that is I can do things without worrying about them sliding out. But when my elbow is in the pocket while I'm trying to get my phone, that's too deep.
Oh yeah, you can be walking down the street and it's just like swinging next to you in your pocket.
You ever tried to play golf with them on?
I
If you're
have.
hitting balls and your phone is in your pocket, it like swings so far out that your hand is going to hit your phone.
Oh yeah. It's a near impossible task. It's near
I
impossible.
do like they have a little tether on the inside that you can clip your keys to. So if you're like, out doing something, if you're out at the beach or something, you don't have to worry about them like coming loose.
Do you have a favorite color of baggies that you're rocking?
Gray.
Okay.
The gray ones are great. The navy ones are great. And I have 2 pairs of each. I used to have all the colors when I was a kid, but as I've gotten older, honed it in on those 2. I kind of only wear gray, green, and blue pants.
I gave producer Randy a little grief before the episode because he hadn't complimented my new green pants today.
He has
when a guy's trying out green, you gotta support him.
He tries out green all the time. He had like 5. He has like 5 pairs of green pants. It's not my fault. They're new.
You gotta keep him afloat, Randy. When you see him come in and he's clearly experimenting with something, you have to compliment him, but not let him think that it's out of the norm.
No, when you walk in, I've admittedly beaten down Randy when he comments on something new that I'm wearing because it makes me feel self-conscious. But if no one comments in the office about something new you're wearing, I start to go down the path of like, do they think I look like an idiot and they're too embarrassed to say anything to me, or are they not noticing? And I just think, and I'm like the most self-centered person in the world, thinking that everyone's just staring at my pants right now.
Yeah,
it's a very thin line that you have to toe. Like, here's how you do it. My friend Will was trying out corduroys for the first time the other day. Clearly a very big jump for him. We're walking past. You just very quickly go, sweet pants, and just keep walking. You don't make a big stink out of it. Just let them know they're cool. Keep it moving.
Yep. You got to incrementally bump them up.
I'm usually the only one that notices when people have new stuff, so I don't know why I'm getting shit out of it.
I know, and like I said, Randy, I have not been fair to you historically when you comment on something new that I'm wearing.
You did compliment my new soccer jersey yesterday, which I did enjoy. Thank you.
True. Well, given that you used to rank beers, given that you're not opposed to having a little snifter of Fireball on a Sunday afternoon, I have to talk hangovers. Do you have a go-to hangover cure for yourself?
Yes. Well, it depends on do you have stuff to do, or is it a Sunday and you're good for the day?
I think we can say both, because I think that let me see. Like, the things that I have in here for you are like foods, rituals, your hangover symptoms, what might give you the worst hangover. And so just like anything.
So for the sake of argument, let's say your schedule's open. You have no obligations. The only thing we have to do is get through this hangover. This is what works for me. I'm not a doctor. If it doesn't work for you, don't come from it. But you wake up. First, you got to assess the damage. How much pain are we in? Can you get food down? If you can get food down, you're going to go on Postmates. You're going to Postmates the spicy chicken biscuit from Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
You're going to get a little bit of honey, just 1 packet. Don't go crazy. Put that on top. If you're a Diet Coke guy like me, have a Diet Coke. Once that's done, you are going to either take an edible or maybe a rip of your pen, whatever you'd like. If you're a weed guy, maybe a triple. Triple is a sponsor of ours. Triple is great. Nothing crazy. Try and keep it a little bit less than you would normally do.
Well, that can that opens up the appetite if you are having trouble eating something.
Yes, that does. But what I like to do breakfast before, because if I eat while I'm high, the floodgates are now open and I'm going to eat everything in my house. And then here is the most important step. If you're going to write one down, this is the one to write down. Get in the sun as quickly as possible. It sounds like an impossible task. You need to get in the sun, either on your roof. If there's a beach nearby, go to the beach. Get in the water, cold ocean water, instantly go. And then once you've done that, I would say no more than 4 beers, but get like a Mexican lager or like a Jamaican lager, like Red Stripe or something, you're going to be good to go. And then as the sun goes down, dinner. No lunch. Don't do lunch.
I love it. I love it. If you could get rid of one hangover symptom, which one would you get rid of?
Like thoughts. Like I will be, if I could like eliminate, if there was a 1-day lobotomy, I would do it every day on Sunday. I'll be in the shower and do you ever like think of something that like probably wasn't that bad, but like the more you do, you think about it. I like multiple times will yell like fuck.
Oh
in
yeah.
the car, in the shower. Like you got to realize everyone else that you were with, unless you did something like awful, everyone else that you were with is not thinking about you at all. They're thinking about like what they did or like how brutal they feel. They're not like, you know, Rusty was horrible last night. They might be thinking that, but they're thinking about themselves. You need to get over that. That's the worst part.
I think that's probably fair. It's been years since I've had this, but like if I was really hungover and if I was really stressed about work or something, like my thoughts would literally just start like yelling at me. It was like if I was alone, the thoughts just get so loud. And just like you said, I would do like I will let out like an audible like something. I will just like make a noise just to like get that energy out of my brain. It's not intentional. It just like falls out of my mouth. I could do it at like a brunch sitting there and someone's like, "Why did you just do that?" And I'm like, "Because my mind is angry at me right now."
My favorite is, so I have a girlfriend right now and she doesn't drink a lot. So like she doesn't deal with, and she's very polite and lovely. So like she doesn't have to like worry about saying the wrong thing. And I will be sitting there and be like, oh, or like fuck, or like whatever. And she thinks that it's like tied to a real concrete thing. And she'll be like, what's that about? And I'm like, it's not, you wouldn't understand. Like, you wouldn't get it.
Yeah, I'm kind of facing that these days with my wife. She's really scaled back and like, you know, I haven't scaled back as much as I probably could at this age, but like, yeah, it's kind of the same thing. I get a little grief if I stumble in from like a group dinner and suddenly she's like, you know, had one glass of wine and she's like, yeah, you're an idiot. If you are having, I don't know, 4 beers on a Sunday, what are you reaching for? You just said Mexican lagers. I don't hate that. You kind of already answered this one.
It's got to be, well, here's the thing. There are basically, I don't know, I'm kind of talking out of my ass right now, but let's say there are 4 schools of thought and we'll come up with them along the way.
Okay.
The first is you have to think of like what vibe you're going for. So there are days where I'm like, you know what? Let's bust out the Peroni and let's get like a little European vibe going. Maybe throw together some sort of charcuterie board, get out in the sun, do it. You can go the Red Stripe route, lean in heavily to, you know, the Bob Marley, the Bears Hammond, whatever. You can go Mexican, you can go south of the border. That can be very fun. Get some tacos going. And then the fourth, keep it simple. Go back to what you were doing the night before, maybe a Coors Light, maybe a Bud Light. Actually, not a Bud Light. Yeah, keep it Coors Light. Bud Light and I have beef, by the way.
What's your beef with Bud Light?
They're not a fan of mine, apparently. Or years ago they weren't a fan of mine. But yeah, Coors Light's my jam. Michelob Ultra, which is owned by Anheuser-Busch, so I guess maybe not Michelob Ultra, but Coors Light. But I think Red Stripe, if you can get that little guy in your hand, you've already solved half the problem. Like you already look like you're having fun.
I think that's fair. I don't hate any of your selections here. I think these are Sunday Scaries approved. If I opened your refrigerator right now, what would I find inside of it?
You would find, oh, I forgot one of them. I'm on a huge Guinness kick right now.
Thank you. I love that.
Guinness is my shit. And I can't believe I forgot this. I just learned how to like properly pour it. I'm having a blast. It fits perfectly in my glass. Also, I think there's no science to back this up, but I think the fact that it's not carbonated, it goes down like a lot easier when the stomach's not working. People think that the Guinness is and I was one of these people, thought it was like a daunting thing, scary thing. It's not. It's lovely. It's like a little chocolatey. It's great.
It's the easiest drinking beer there is. I don't like huge carbonation in beers. Like it makes me feel full, burpy, whatever. And like I can drink Guinness as much as I need to. It also doesn't really affect me the next day. Like it's the one thing that if I really max out on it, I don't feel as bad the next day as I do with other things. And so like I'm all in. We'll have to get you some Sunday Scaries Guinness glasses that we've got in the studio.
Please.
We'll
I actually had like a huge back and forth with ChatGPT when I was getting into Guinness about I was trying to get it to give me a definitive answer of like, is it better than regular beer?
Mm-hmm.
And it was saying like with the antioxidants, of course, in moderation, but like it might be closer to a red wine than a beer if you keep it under like 4.
Yeah.
If you have 4 Guinnesses, you're going to put yourself in a really good spot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the more devastating things about Guinness is that they just sell it in a 4-pack. And like, once you get to that third one, you're really hitting your stride, and that fourth one's just not going to do it. And so it's like, you need to really get a lot.
I got into an argument with the lady at Whole Foods a couple of days ago because they were doing a Guinness taste test, and she had taken all the Guinness, but I wanted to buy the Guinness. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to. She was like, you can taste it. I was like, I don't want to drink them here. I want to drink them at home. And so they gave me 8 warm ones that I had to wrap in a cold paper towel and then put them in the freezer to get them a little colder quicker.
I mean, you could drink at room temperature like they do in the UK.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's always kind of spooked me. I don't like that they have warm beer.
Have you done a UK trip to do like Rusty Ranks pubs or Rusty Ranks lagers? Pints?
I did Amsterdam right after I graduated college for 2 weeks. And let me tell you, those guys are doing it right over there.
Oh, yeah.
I like their vibe. No one gives a fuck about anything. Like there are like finance guys that are like out at lunch drinking in the middle of the day. This doesn't seem like anyone works. It's mostly focused on biking. Not entirely clear where they're biking, but like they're doing it.
Ton of biking.
They're out at like 4, chilling, having a couple beers. It's great.
Do you have a go-to food spot in LA that you like to hit on a Sunday? It can be takeout or sit down, whatever you want.
All right. You got to keep, I think this is already a well-known one, so I'm not going to blow anyone's mind. But like Cha-Cha Chicken it's a Caribbean spot. You go in, colorful painting or colorful, like everything's painted like red, blue, green, yellow, like the good stuff. You sit down, get the jerk chicken combo.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1 jerk tostada, 1 jerk empanada, a couple fried plantains, some cabbage, and then some rice and beans. Perfect.
I'm looking at photos of Cha-Cha Chicken right now, and this looks like a good place to take down a red striper.
It is a
3.
vibe.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And it's beachside, BYOB?
It is BYOB, and it is pretty close to the beach. It is also dangerously close to where I'm sitting right now, so I do pop over there for lunch every once in a while, but it's a great spot.
If it's a Sunday afternoon, you're hanging out at your place alone. You queue up Spotify on the Bluetooth speaker to go sit outside and get your sunlight. What's on that Bluetooth speaker?
I have a playlist called Sunshine Jackie, and it starts with the song Sunshine Reggae, which if you're not familiar, I actually just learned this, is not by reggae guys at all. It's by these 2 European guys, but it is a great tune, and then it gets into a little Jimmy Buffett, gets into a little Bob Marley. I always butcher his name, but Bears Hammond is great. Like, I Feel Good, They Gonna Talk. Those are all great. You got to keep it light, keep it fun. Everyone wants to kind of dwell in the moment. Restrain from playing any Elliott Smith. It's going to make it much, much worse.
Yeah. You have to avoid the acoustic songs that might just bring you to tears out of nowhere. Yeah. I have a playlist that was really put together by me and my buddies from home, called Contemporary Reggae, and we found ourselves listening to a lot of contemporary reggae for our hangovers and our just kind of nursing our hangovers, really.
Yeah. Come Monday by Jimmy Buffett. If you're really down in the dumps, that's like, you can only use it so many times before its effects wear off. But like, if you throw that music video on, it's going to be okay. You're going to be good. He's going to get you where you need to go.
When I first started a blog and had Squarespace and I was just writing and doing whatever, one of my main reference points on the big board in the writing room was just Jimmy Buffett Come Monday. It was just that's how much better does it get on a Sunday?
It's the greatest. It's the greatest music video of all time, and I think it probably cost $7.
Well, I mean,
He also, if you wanna really, this is like you could probably only use this once a year. Go read the comments on the Harvest Moon music video.
okay.
It's it's some good stuff.
Okay.
It's like people, it's like old guys being like, I lost my wife, a year ago. We used to dance to this song, every night. Like I love her. So it's just the sweetest paragraphs of people just leaving notes about their loved ones. Go check it out. It's really, really good stuff.
Okay, this is great intel. I'm thrilled right now. Let me see. Our next question. Do you have a go-to lazy Sunday TV show or movie that's like a coping mechanism for you, or just something you like will put on in the background while doing chores?
Yes, I actually have a couple. So there's a documentary on YouTube called Pepperoni Playboy, and that is a tour documentary of Mac DeMarco and his band going to like Kuala Lumpur and like all these places, and it's him like making the album, and I really like his vibe. Honestly, I'll watch How I Met Your Mother. People shit on it. It's like it takes one brain cell to understand what's happening, and it's light, it's fun. I like that. And then here's what's good. Traitors.
Oh,
Traitors is the greatest reality show that anyone has ever made.
mhm.
And then I don't do this as much anymore, but I used to live with this guy named Chester Collins, lovely guy. And we would try and watch an entire season of Survivor on one Sunday.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
It was, you just like your skin starts to fuse to the couch because you haven't moved for so long. Like it was legit.
Well, it won't matter. Are you caught up in this season of Traders?
Yes.
Okay. It won't matter because this will air after Thursday when the spoiler's been revealed. Who do you think Brittany voted for?
That's a good question.
I have big concerns about this season.
When it got down to two people,
It was Danielle or Ivor.
oh, I think that she was on to Danielle.
I do
I
too.
think that like Danielle is, or no, Brittany's her partner in crime now.
Yeah.
I think she might stick by Danielle and vote for Ivor.
I can't tell. I can't tell if she had an exchange with Dolores to kind of say like, all right, we need to get her out. But if I'm Brittany, the first thing I'm doing is getting Danielle off the show. So I'm the only traitor going into the finale.
I know. And they won't know going into, or they won't know who the traitors are after this round table, right?
Yeah. Well, the seer will. The seer will find out who
Right.
I don't know how that works.
I truly utilize the recap every week because I literally, the second I'm done watching it, I forget them.
Well,
like I will be more up to date once I can get my hands on that recap.
I'm glad you brought that up though, because now I've got two kids and bedtime routines get out of control and stuff like that. We've actually been saving it for Sunday night, and it's been like I almost can't go to bed after watching it because I'm so fired up after a Traders episode.
It's so great. We were walking, but like everyone that I know loves Traders. So you're like walking through if you didn't watch it on Thursday, you're walking through a minefield of spoilers. I
have to squint when I'm scrolling Instagram to make sure that like I don't see someone's face come up and like just get something spoiled for me. It's really bad. What's your ideal Sunday night dinner?
All right, here's what you're gonna do. You gotta really do some research, lock in a Thai spot that you can trust.
Okay.
Because there are some phonies out there. You got to go in there, get your eyes on the employees, make sure they're legit. Then you're gonna get some pad thai and you're gonna get some spring rolls. That's it. Keep it simple. Really delish. You can also do a pizza, but I like Thai sushi. A lot of people don't like hungover sushi. Sushi, Thai, Chinese, or pizza.
See, my
fast food.
My wife really opened my eyes up to eating Thai food on a Sunday night and to cure a hangover with it. And I am one of the weird people who enjoys sushi when I'm hungover. I don't know. I think it's like the simplicity of it, the freshness of it. It just kind of makes me feel like I'm like not a piece of shit by eating rice and some fish. I don't know. I think there's something there. Okay, our final question, Rusty. I know that Sundays are very touch and go, and I know that you cannot plan out your perfect Sunday every single Sunday because you need to wake up and see what vibe you're trying to catch. But if you had to script your ideal Sunday coming up for this Sunday, what might that look like?
It's a great question. This it doesn't have to be based in reality. I can have it be anything I want.
Sure.
I'm going to wake up in Florida. I'm going to go down to the beach. I'm going to find a nook of the beach that no one has touched yet. Lay down the towel. Maybe have one person that you know isn't going to talk too much. If someone wants to talk about what happened last night, we can do that later. We're not going to do it today. We're going to sit there. We're going to have one speaker. We're going to have a cooler. We're going to get in the water every 15 minutes, go hang out in there, lay back down, get a little sunburnt, go home, take a nap. Then it's dinner time. Perfect. Keep it simple.
I love it. I love it. You're the first person to ever take this outside of the city that you live in and go somewhere else. And I really appreciate that. Well, Rusty, now's your opportunity. I want you to plug anything that you want to plug right now for what will benefit you going forward.
My good friend Will Donnell and I have a podcast called Playdate, Will and Rusty's Playdate. Anywhere you get your podcast, we have a show called How Cool on YouTube. We have I have my socials, Rusty Featherstone or Featherstone Rusty, depending on if you're on Instagram or TikTok. And then I want to plug a belief in yourself. If you're out there and you're having a bad day today and you're a little stressed out about life in general, I want you to think about how bad it has been, and it always works itself out. It's going to be good. Give yourself a break. And I think you're going to have a killer week this week.